appear factual although they are unreal, and therefore meditate upon him, Lord Sri Krishna, who is eternally existent in the transcendental abode, which is forever free from the illusory representations of the material world. I meditate upon him, for he is the absolute truth. Dharma pojita kaitravotra parama nirmatsanam satam vedyam vastavam atra vastu shivadam tapatrayon mulanam Srimad Bhagavate Mahamuni Krite Kim va purir Ishwaraha Sadyo Hridi Avarudyate Tra Krite Bihi Susur Subhistaksanat. Completely rejecting all religious activities which are materially motivated, this Bhagavata Purana propounds the highest truth, which is understandable by those devotees who are fully pure in heart. The highest truth is reality distinguished from illusion for the welfare of all. Such truth uproots the threefold miseries. This beautiful Bhagavatam, compiled by the great sage Vyasadeva in his maturity, is sufficient in itself for God realization. What is the need of any other scripture? As soon as one attentively and submissively hears the message of Bhagavatam, by this culture of knowledge, the Supreme Lord is established within his heart. Nigama kalpatarur galitam phalam sukumukad amritam dravya samyutam Pipata Bhagavatam Rasam Alayam Muhur Aho Rasika Bhuvi Bhavukaha. O expert and thoughtful man, relish Srimad Bhagavatam, the mature fruit of the desire tree of Vedic literatures. It emanated from the lips of Sri Sukadeva Goswami. Therefore, this fruit has become even more tasteful. Although its nectarian juice was already relishable for all, including liberated souls. Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 8. Huh? 52, huh? As it is not possible to filter muddy water through mud, or purify a wine-stained pot with wine, it is not possible to counteract the killing of men by sacrificing animals. Purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Asvamedha yagyas, or Gomeda yagyas, sacrifices in which a horse or a bull is sacrificed, were not, of course, for the purpose of killing the animals. Lord Chaitanya said that such animals sacrificed on the altar of yagya were rejuvenated, and a new life was given to them. It was just to prove the efficacy of the hymns of the Vedas. Efficacy means the expertise or the practical, useful nature. By recitation of the hymns of the Vedas in the proper way, certainly the performer gets relief from the reactions of sins. But in case of such sacrifices improperly done under inexpert management, surely one has to become responsible for animal sacrifice. In this age of quarrel and hypocrisy, there is no possibility of performing the yagyas perfectly for want of expert brahmanas who are able to conduct such yagyas. Maharaja Yudhishthira, therefore, gives a hint to performing sacrifices in the age of Kali. In the Kali Yuga, the only sacrifice recommended is the performance of Harinama Yagya, inaugurated by Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Jai. But one should not indulge in animal killing and counteract it by performing the Harinama Yagya. Those who are devotees of the Lord never kill an animal for self-interest. And as the Lord ordered Arjuna, they do not refrain from performing the duty of a Kshatriya. The whole purpose, therefore, is served. When everything is done for the will of the Lord, this is possible only for the devotees. Thus end the Bhaktivedanta purports of the first canto, 8th chapter of the Srimad Bhagavatam, entitled Prayers by Queen Kunti and Parikshit Saved. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So, when a hint is given in the scriptures, most people don't realize it. But here Prabhupada realizes that Maharaj Yudhishthira, way before the advent of Lord Chaitanya, gave a hint through this verse of the coming of the Lord. And the inauguration, or in the performance of Harinam Yagya, which was inaugurated by Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he says, as it is not possible to filter muddy water through mud, or purify a wine-stained pot with wine, it is not possible to counteract the killing of men by sacrificing animals. Okay. Therefore, the ancient Jews were nonsense, because they were sacrificing animals to please God. And the Hindus, even up today, are nonsense. Like, for example, just recently again in Nepal, they perform Gadimai Puja. Gadimai is another name for Durga, in which in a 5-day period they kill like 60,000 animals. There's blood everywhere. Huh? A river of blood. Everywhere, and people are walking in it, and they're killing the bulls and cows and rabbits and any animal that they bring. They bring 60,000 animals.
Do they kill the cows or goats?
No, they kill bulls. That's for sure. No, they'll kill any animal that they bring. You want to bring your grandmother and put a goat head on it? They'll kill her also. Anything that looks like an animal, they'll kill. And have these big Nepali, what do you call it? Burqas? Not burqas. Yeah, it's called kukri, but it's curved. It's perfect for cutting off a head of something, And it just keep going like this until the head comes off. And then the blood is going all over the place. And people are chanting, Jai, Jai, Jai. They're really happy to see it happen. And then there's a lot of trucks from Delhi. As soon as it's all over, they just load the dead bodies onto the trucks. And well, not all of them. I don't know if they load the rabbits and the others, but all the beef they load and sheep and things. They take it down to Delhi and sell it. It's big business. Well, they're all nonsense. You can't counteract the killing of men by sacrificing animals. So this Asvamedha, horse sacrifice, Gomedha, cow sacrifice, in which a horse or a bull, so it's not exactly cow, it's a bull, were not, of course, for the purpose of killing animals. Lord Chaitanya said that such animals sacrificed in the altar of Yajna were rejuvenated and a new life was given to them. So you're not allowed to kill a human being or an animal unless you can bring them back to life and rejuvenate them. That means they become young again. So, and that was just a test to see if the Brahmins were able to say their mantras correctly. Because if they didn't, then the animal didn't come back alive. So, up until the time of Buddha, the Hindus continued doing animal sacrifices in Kali Yuga. These horse sacrifice, bull sacrifice. And Buddha stopped it and started a new religion where there's no animal sacrifice, at least when he started it. Now there is, again, animal killing amongst the Buddhists. And Jesus also stopped the animal sacrifice in the Temple of David in Jerusalem. Well, he tried to stop it, and then they crucified him. But then 70 years later, the Jews were all taken out of Israel. Their temple was destroyed, and they still haven't been able to rebuild it. So we see Buddha started a new religion, Jesus started a new religion, mainly because of animal sacrifice in Kali Yuga. So here, Maharaj Yudhisthira, 5,000 years ago, is giving a hint that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is going to come and is going to start Harinam Yagya to replace all this animal killing yagyas. So it's a very nice purport. So now we'll begin chapter 9, the passing away of Bhismadeva in the presence of Lord Krishna. Text number 1. Sutta Goswami said, being afraid for having killed so many subjects on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, Maharaja Yudhisthira went to the scene of the massacre. There, Bhismadeva was lying on a bed of arrows, about to pass away. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. In this 9th chapter, as it is willed by Lord Shri Krishna, Bhismadeva will impart instructions to King Yudhisthira on the subject of occupational duties, meaning Raja Dharma, how to become a saintly king. Bhismadeva will also offer his last prayer to the Lord on the verge of passing away from this mortal world, and thus become liberated from the bondage of further material engagements. So at the same time, Bhismadeva teaches the Vishnu Sahasram Sotram, which all the Sri Vaishnavas recite every day. Bhismadeva will also offer his last prayer to the Lord on the verge of passing away from this mortal world, and thus become liberated from the bondage of further material engagements. Bhismadeva was endowed with the power of leaving this material body at will, and his lying down on the bed of arrows was his own choice, while he was shot by Arjuna with hundreds or maybe thousands of arrows, and he was stuck to the ground like this. His body was a little bit above the ground, and arrows pierced his body and kept him stuck like that. He stayed like that for a long time, and by the time the battle is over, all the funerals are finished, he didn't have any blood anymore, and he hardly had any flesh. He was just bone, but still he was there like that, and still he was alive. This passing away of the great warrior attracted the attention of all the contemporary elites, and all of them assembled there to show their feelings of love, respect, and affection for the great soul. Well, when it says all the contemporary elites, it's talking about people like Vyasadeva, and I think also the demigods, or some of the principal demigods. They were all there. At least Vyasadeva, Narada Muni, and people like that were there. At that time, all his brothers followed him on beautiful chariots, drawn by first-class horses, decorated with gold ornaments. So he's talking about the Pandavas. With them were Vyasa and rishis like Domya, the learned priest of the Pandavas, and others. Next verse. O sage amongst the Brahmanas, Lord Shri Krishna, the personality of Godhead, also followed, seated on a chariot with Arjuna. So Krishna is also present. Thus King Yudhisthira appeared very aristocratic, like Kuvera, surrounded by his companions, the Guyakas. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Lord Sri Krishna wanted the Pandavas to be present before Bhismadeva in the most aristocratic order, so that he might be pleased to see them, he meaning Bhismadeva, happy at the time of his death. Kuvera is the richest of all the demigods, and herein King Yudhisthira appeared like him, Kuvera, for the procession along with Sri Krishna, was quite appropriate to the royalty of King Yudhisthira. Okay, text 4. Seeing him, Bhisma, lying on the ground like a demigod fallen from the sky, the Pandava king Yudhisthira, along with his younger brothers and Lord Krishna, bowed down before him. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Lord Krishna was also a younger cousin of Maharaj Yudhisthira, as well as the intimate friend of Arjuna. But all the family members of the Pandavas knew Lord Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The Lord, although conscious of his supreme position, always behaved in a humanly custom, and so he also bowed down before the dying Bhismadeva, as if he were one of the younger brothers of King Yudhisthira. Text 5. Just to see the chief of the descendants of King Bharata, Bhisma, all the great souls in the universe, namely the rishis amongst the demigods, brahmanas and kings, all situated in the quality of goodness, were assembled there. So the demigods did come. Purport. The rishis are those who have attained perfection by spiritual achievements. Such spiritual achievements can be earned by all, whether one is a king or a mendicant. Bhismadeva himself was also one of the Brahma rishis and the chief of the descendants of King Bharata. All rishis are situated in the quality of goodness, all of them assembled there on hearing the news of the great warrior's impending death. Okay, we will stop there. The next purport becomes very long. It's like 6 pages. So and we'll continue tomorrow. Whole glories to Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Haribol, Haribol.